guys, welcome back to my channel, A Style of Living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Bláithín. I'm a retired wedding planner and author. I'm now a stay-at-home mum and I'm researching my third book. I have two beautiful angel daughters in heaven and one gorgeous 4.5-month-old son, Indiana James, and I make videos on lifestyle and motherhood. And today I wanted to talk about, I think there's like 21 on the list, things every woman should be doing regularly. As you can see, I'm not looking the best right now. I didn't think I'd be recording this video right this moment, but the stars aligned. And two, I've got a little bit of a cold going on, and we had a crazy busy weekend, so I'm a teeny bit tired for that, so please excuse the appearance. So this list is in no particular order, and it is a complete mismatch of things that I have been thinking about for myself over the last few months, and I have been trying very hard to work on these. And the list, as I think I said, is in no particular order, and depending on your age, I think regardless of your age, everything is pretty relevant. There might be a few tweaks here and there that I will go through, but first and foremost, mostly because this is on my mind a lot right now, is every woman should get measured for a bra regularly. I'm sure there's like a specific time frame, but for me, I try to do it annually. I normally do it around my birthday because that's when I will go and splash out and buy myself a whole load of really nice underwear. It's the one thing I really enjoy, like myself, and all of these things that I'm going to talk about are all of things for yourself. They're not for anybody else in your life. If other people benefit from them, marvelous, but it's all about self-care and just you. So yeah, you should definitely get measured, I would say at least once a year. For me, this is on my mind. As many of you know, over the last 2 years, I have had 3 pregnancies and have been nursing and all of that. And so largely during that time frame, I've been in sort of like sports bras or nursing bras for that time. And I'm now finished nursing. And while I am continuing to lose weight, it's my big goal for the year, I do feel it is time now to transition out of those kind of more functionary bras and into something a little bit more me. Another really important thing, and it's something I do not do as often as I should, but it is to get your good shoes, your heels, your boots reheeled, resoled, whatever they may be, especially if they are investment pieces, like the shoes, the boots that you've paid a significant amount of money for. Have them resoled, have them reheeled, like in time for whatever season they're for. Obviously your boots are probably more autumn, winter, so you've got some time if you're living in Ireland here like me, but we're coming into spring and summer, so if you've got those cute shoes or heels that you know you're going to be using, take them out, have a look at them, see if they need to be cleaned or reheeled, resoled, whatever it may be, and go and get those done so that you actually use them. This is what I should really do more often. It's check that you're wearing the right shade of foundation or makeup or BB cream or CC cream, whatever you wear. Obviously, if you're not a person that wears makeup, this doesn't apply to you, but for those of us who do, I'm suggesting you consult with a makeup artist, a professional, a person who sells the brand that you wear, and have your, I suppose, your colors done, your swatches done, and buy and check this regularly, because for me now, I have varying shades of just pale or translucent. I'm not a person who tans, and so I never really go dark. But for those who do, obviously your summer shade and your winter shade are most likely going to be different colors. You probably know this already, but for those who might not have realized, definitely go get your colors done even by season. Another really important one is to have a smear test regularly. Here in Ireland, generally speaking, I think they advise you to do it every 3 years. My situation is a little bit different because of conditions I have. I actually have them done annually when I'm not pregnant. The other thing, obviously women of a certain age are supposed to have mammograms regularly. So to book those, to keep the appointments, get them done, they literally take minutes. There's minor discomfort, but it could save you, it could save your life basically. This next one is, for some people might consider an utter luxury. And the advice is to have a manicure and pedicure. Now, while it's lovely to go and get, you know, shellac done if that's the direction that you like to go done, what I'm talking about here is an actual sort of proper manicure and pedicure, more to take care of your hands and your feet more so than it's to make you look pretty. That is just a complete added bonus if you decide to go down the route of, you know, nail varnish and color and all of that, which is loads of fun. But what I'm talking about here is actually hand and nail care. Ooh, my list just fell. Hand and nail care, so to look after your cuticles, you know, any issues that you may have. So it's more about care than pampering. Next up is to update your CV. Even if you have no intention of applying for new jobs or moving from where you are now, if at the very least update and refresh your CV just to remind yourself of the accomplishments that you have made, both educationally and career-wise. Often we attain these sort of levels of promotion or education throughout the course of our careers, and we never really take notice of them because they are entrenched in the job that we're currently doing, and they're big things. Recently, sort of, my husband reminded me of this. He has recently spent the last number of years in college re-educating himself and retraining himself, and he even currently he is still educating himself. And you know, those are big achievements. He has managed to completely change career, and over the last 3 years, like stratospherically change even within his new career. So, you know, those things are important to recognize yourself. For those of you with very keen ears, you will hear that my little dude is awake from his nap, so we will continue this a little bit later on. As I mentioned, I'm a stay-at-home mum, and so right now, and probably for the next few years, a CV or updating a CV isn't largely relevant to me, because for the foreseeable future, I don't imagine I will be pursuing a traditional career where I will have to apply and interview for jobs. That doesn't mean, as a stay-at-home mum, that you cease to be anything outside of a mum. I love being a stay-at-home mum. It has been a big goal and something that we have worked towards so that we could make this happen. But for me, it was never going to be the be-all and end-all. As I mentioned in my intro, I'm writing my 3rd book. It is going to take me longer than it took me to write the other 2 books, purely because I am a stay-at-home mum. The researching, and because of the type of book it is, will take me much longer. It could take me a couple of years. Maybe by the time Indy's in nursery or play school or even school, I might be ready to send it out to a publisher. I don't know yet. But I'm constantly doing things like that, YouTube, my blog, and other things. So use those hobbies that you have to advance not only a potential future career or a current career, but also yourself as well. I think as a woman, that's really important, that we shouldn't just stick with one label unless that's something we really want to do. This is one that has really evolved for me over my lifetime, and that is to check in and learn what drink you really like. Now, this can be alcoholic or non-alcoholic. For me right now, I haven't really been drinking any alcohol for the past 3 years, largely because I was either trying to lose weight, trying to get pregnant, or pregnant. And so I've developed a real taste for herbal teas, and I want to say coffee, but really it's specific coffees that aren't even that terribly fancy or great. But in my early 20s, vodka was my drink. Oh my god, I loved the stuff. Can't even touch it now, have no interest in it. And so that's why I think you should always check in. You might still be drinking a drink that you drank as a teenager. You could be a lady in your 50s now, and your tastes might have changed and you don't even know it. The next one is not about cleaning yourself. It's really about just relaxing and taking a really private moment for yourself. And that is to take a really long hot shower or bubble bath, whatever your preference is. And this is really about being restorative. Water and fresh air, as it happens, can really elevate or change our mood or how we're feeling. So really to take that sort of really restorative hot shower that isn't really about washing our hair or, you know, exfoliating or any of those other important things that we should all be doing regularly, but this is really about just having some private time alone, because if you're like me, the bath and the shower is where I do a huge amount of thinking, planning, and ideas come for me. I often think that I really need a way of sort of recording or noting down these amazing thoughts that I have that leave me as soon as I step out of the shower or the bath, which I suppose leads us nicely on to writing in a journal. I know there are many people out there who practice things like daily pages or morning pages or journaling every night. And the idea of that really appeals to me. The practicality of it just doesn't happen for me and my lifestyle. It never really has. But I do have this one journal, and I would think this journal is probably pushing 12 years old at this point. And every so often, when I feel I need to, or if there's something weighing down on me, I will write in the journal whatever comes into my head. I will just basically have verbal diarrhea onto the journal. And sometimes I'll have like conflicting thoughts. That's almost like a conversation with myself. I put that all down in the journal, and I find this really helps. Now, like, whole years could go by and I never write in this journal, and I could be writing in this journal every day for a month and then not touch it again for a long period of time. But I do think we need that place, that safe place, just to offload random, insignificant, big, poignant thoughts, whatever might be coming into our head. This one I think is really important to look back on. And it's having a really nice photo of you taken regularly by someone else. So I don't mean a selfie, I mean a full, portrait of you, standing, sitting, whatever you're most comfortable with, whenever you feel good or don't feel good. When I was a teenager, I hated photos of myself, detested them. I always felt I was this massively enormous, fat, ugly person. And it's weird, in my 20s, looking back on those teenage photos, I was like, oh my god, why did I think I was so fat or ugly? I'm like perfectly proportioned compared to everybody else. I look no different looking back. And the same, I have been all shapes and sizes throughout my life, from the very, very slim to the very, very large. And it's weird. I feel now in my life I'm at a point where I can accept myself in all my forms. And so looking back on photos, yes, I see the larger me or the slimmer me, but I just see me, and that sort of really helps. I also have noticed in looking back on photos that in hindsight, I'm not as fat or as ugly or as pimply or as greasy haired as I thought I was at that time. And I sort of regret not taking more photos, over the course of my life. So that has become a big focus for me for the future. Another really important step or thing every woman should do is to check in on her skincare routine. Obviously, as we age, our skin needs and our body's needs change. They, you know, we might need more moisture or more sort of wrinkle prevention or whatever the case may be. But it's very easy to find a moisturizer or a skincare routine that you love and to literally buy those products every time they run out, and never to sort of evaluate, are they still working for me like they once did? Do I need more or less help in certain areas? So definitely, like the bra fitting and the underwear, I think this is something you should probably be looking at once a year, just to see, could I benefit or could my skin benefit from a new product or less product? A couple of weeks back I shared a video or a challenge I set myself during morning brew of drinking 3.5 litres of water a day. I am still drinking nowhere near 3.5 litres of water a day, but my water intake has definitely increased. And this is something that I would encourage every woman to do, is to really work on her water intake. It's had several knock-on effects that I hoped it would. My skin is definitely clearer, for sure. My weight loss has been helped, definitely. I've maintained a nice steady pace. I'm almost halfway through my weight loss goal for the year. It's only March. So I think that's phenomenal. I also find that my overall kind of feeling is better. I feel well, you know, I sort of, my eyes are brighter, things like that. So definitely water is hugely important, as we're already aware. I always think it's really nice to have a special place, to find a special place that you can go to cheer yourself up, to check in with yourself. For me, I'm very fortunate. I live near the coast. There are several beautiful beaches within 5-10 minutes drive of where I live. In particular, there is a very small little beach, and by pure coincidence or destiny, I have no idea what, every time I have something weighing on my heart, I just end up there. I don't know why. I don't know why this particular beach, that's where I go. It's almost like my body drives the car there unknowingly. When my first business closed over 10 years ago now, I was in a terrible place. I was really upset. I felt like I'd let myself and everybody down, and I somehow ended up on this beach. It's a very small beach. You'd be doing well to walk the full beach in, you know, more than 15 minutes, as in, like, you're not going there for a huge long walk, but it's just a lovely place to just sit and think. It's often very quiet, it's secluded. Maybe that's why I like it. But I think every person, every woman should find that place. It might not be a beach, but I do suggest it be outdoors, in nature, that you can ground yourself, that you can go feel safe, you know, process through whatever you might need to, sort of refresh yourself. In sort of keeping with that, this is not my own tip, and I genuinely cannot remember where I got this from, but it was in the last 4 or 5 months, definitely since I've had Indiana. And it's about checking in with yourself in the moment. So basically, regularly throughout the day, asking yourself, what do I need? So it might be that you need to go to the bathroom, or that you need a glass of water, or that you're hungry, or that you just need to sit down for a moment and catch your breath. It is I don't want to say a daily practice, because I do it really regularly. And for me, it was surrounded about becoming a new mum and sort of retaining that identity and not forgetting, you know, important things like going to the bathroom and nourishing yourself. So I really feel like that's something every woman should do, not just regularly. Like, I'm not talking once a month or, you know, twice a week. I'm talking regularly in the day. I think we should all be asking ourselves, what do I need right now? When was the last time you asked yourself that? Those of you who have been watching, especially for the last year and a bit will know that over the last 2 years, I have made a big conscious effort with our finances. And one of the big things that we've been focused on, particularly this year, is to do with saving. And it made me realize that every person, every woman should be saving towards something specific that is an utter luxury. For me, I have 2 big luxury wants that I would love to have, that seem sort of, you know, not unnecessary, but, you know, I keep putting them off because, you know, other things will do. One of them is a Louis Vuitton Never Full. I'm very fortunate to own some Louis Vuittons, but not the Never Full. I also am absolutely in love with Le Creuset. Have just come out with a new range of cookware and dinnerware, and it is in a shell pink. It is like they went inside my head and made cookware specifically for me. These 2 items are luxury, high-end items. I have beautiful bags. My husband probably buys me a bag once or twice a year. They are gorgeous. He has great taste. Often he'll ask me what I want. The Louis Vuitton Never Full, as you can imagine, has a hefty price tag. Depending on where and when you buy it, you're looking at between $1,200 and $1,500, which I appreciate for a handbag is an insane amount of money, and that's part of the reason why I haven't spent that much money on it. The same with the Le Creuset. While some of the pieces start from, I think, about €20, you know, some are 300, 400, 500 a piece. So to have the whole range is probably a couple of grand. But both of those things are something I'm saving towards. So I put a specific amount of money aside every month for my luxury purchase. My husband does something similar as well. And so it might take me a few months, it might take me a few years to get there, because as I say, it's only a small specific amount I'm putting aside. And every time I get some extra money, maybe as a gift or such, I do sort of top it up. So I don't know precisely when I'm going to get there, but I do think every woman should set aside a specific amount regularly towards whatever your luxury purchase is. I think we all deserve that special treat every now and then, don't you? Along with the bra size, I think another thing every woman should be checking regularly is her shoe size. I noticed, obviously, with the weight, the pregnancies, since giving birth, my shoe sizes has changed over the last 2 years. I was a size 6, I went up to a 7, I'm now inching back down to a size 6 again. And honestly, I didn't really notice it for a while because I spent a lot of time in slippers and sort of like ballet pumps. But I do think every woman should be checking in on her shoe size. And likewise, you should be checking in on your clothes size. For a long time in my life, I felt that if I was wearing a larger clothes size, it was worse than if I was pouring myself and fat, you know, mushrooming over the side of my trousers or out of my bra. When in fact, you can look so much better if you're wearing the right size clothes. So forget about the sort of the size and think more about the fit. How do things fit you? Right now, as many of you know, I have lost over 1.5 stones of weight. In fact, in the last 2 years, I've lost over 3.5 stone. And so, as you would imagine, my waist size, everything basically is smaller than it once was. Interestingly, some of the clothes I wore at my heaviest, I'm still wearing today, and some of the sizes I'm buying are much smaller than I ever imagined I would be in at this time. So I'm probably buying a range in sizes from 14 to 16 to a size 20, depending on where and what I'm buying. And I'm finding that that range of clothes actually is fitting my body right now. I've moved out here so the cats can eat in peace and we don't have to listen to them munching behind me. This is going to seem like a slightly controversial one. I think every woman regularly should look at herself in a full-length mirror, fully naked. One, to check in your body, to make sure, you know, everything is okay, that you know lumps and bumps where you shouldn't, that, you know, you don't need to address any moles, practical things like that. But also to become more comfortable with how you look and comfortable in your own skin. My body has been through a great deal in my lifetime, and particularly in the last few years with the pregnancies and the surgeries and C-sections and all of that. And obviously the weight loss as well. And it's interesting to me, there are definitely parts of my body that I'm not happy with, and I am working towards being happier with those. But the more I look at my body, stretch marks and all, I'm amazed at what it has overcome and sustained. And yeah, so I think learn to love your skin. Even if it is privately, you don't have to be, you know, shaking it all about for everybody to see. I really believe in the power of giving and receiving compliments. And I think that starts with you as a person. I think you should be giving yourself a compliment as often and as regularly as you can. Now, you don't have to do it in public. But if you feel you look good or you're feeling happy about something, tell yourself and accept it. Often as women, and particularly as an Irish woman, it can be very difficult to accept a compliment. So if somebody says to you, oh, you're looking very well today, or that shade of blue really suits you, as opposed to just saying, oh, thank you, that's very nice to hear. Often we say something like, oh really, are you sure? Well, I just put it on to hide all the fat around my neck. So you've insulted yourself when somebody else has told you that you're looking really well. My advice is the next time somebody gives you a compliment, simply say thank you. My next two are perhaps slightly connected. The first one is, ask yourself, are you happy? I asked myself this a few years ago, and I was not. And that's what led to me closing my company, retiring from my career, and starting a family. And now, genuinely, I have never been happier. That obviously took a lot of time and energy, sacrifice and help. And so we had a lot of goals to achieve in order to make that happen. So I think regularly you should ask yourself, am I happy? And if you're not, then you should make some goals and a plan to achieve them with a defined end date so that you do become a happier person. I hope you found these tips useful. Let me know in the comments below which of the ones that you're going to start practicing. And if you have any ones to add, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to sort of include them in my own personal check-ins every so often. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Do remember to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!